that sounds like words.
Happy October, everybody. In previous videos, I've covered Bigfoot, Mothman, missing people, creepy subjects for sure. But the one thing that humans have evolved to fear the most is humans. And there's nothing scarier than a dead human. I mean, people are creepy enough on their own, but throw in a woman that's headless, crying out the name of her murderer every Thursday for 300 years? That's nightmare fuel. Every culture from every era has stories of the dead. Ghosts, ancestors, spirits, demons, angels, Satan himself.
What is your name? Tell me your name.
Chances are, if you don't believe in ghosts, you know somebody that does. Sure, I said that Sasquatch is the most believable of all supernatural things because it has a natural explanation to it, but the supernatural thing that I believe the most is ghosts. Growing up in the historical town of Kingston, Ontario, I was exposed to dozens of local ghost stories. It's kind of just an assumption here that they exist. And you can't deny the popularity of the phenomenon now. Almost every other kid seems to have their own ghost hunting channel. Ghost hunting TV shows seem to make ghost hunting YouTube channels as popular as ever. Everyone is into it. And almost anybody can go ghost hunting. You don't need any of this fancy equipment. All you need is a creepy house, a creepy story, some creepy friends. Creep yourself out a little bit. That's basically a ghost hunt. And I can't just dismiss ghosts because there's not enough evidence for them. That's lazy skepticism. There are just too many stories from too many believers. There is legal precedent for ghosts in that if you sell somebody a house in the United States that's haunted and you don't tell them, they can legally get their money back from you. And there are multiple police reports that include ghost or poltergeist activity. With things like Sasquatch, you have to go deep into the woods for weeks to even get a hope of finding some piece of evidence. With aliens, it's like you have to be lucky enough to be struck by lightning to find them. But with ghosts, you don't have to go anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Leading up to this video, I researched and consumed hundreds of ghost stories, videos, films, and recordings, and I thought, this has been done a million times before. Why don't I just do the ghost hunt? It's flashing a lot, so I'm betting it's still picking up some like background noise somewhere. And plus I've got a bunch of devices around here, so it's, I don't know. Let's hear this.
Okay, Spirit, that was one. So we know that you're here. Please tell me what your name is. Flashing is what?
Whoa! That was actually like a word or something. But before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to my patrons for all of your support. I couldn't do this without you. If you love Armored Skeptic and you'd like to support the channel, please consider donating to my Patreon. Also, check out my merch store. I will have fun new designs every month. And guys, if you want to see more of this series, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell now. In the mid-1800s in Kingston, Ontario, a young woman, excited to tell her boyfriend that she was pregnant, decided to meet him downtown in a secluded alleyway. However, when she told him the news, he was not so excited. You see, the reason they had to meet in this alleyway was because he was a married man, living a double life. Apparently, he decided to murder her and stuff her body in the walls of one of the establishments downtown. And to this day, people claim to see the ghost of this young lady in this alleyway asking for help to find her body. I grew up in Kingston, Ontario, and there are dozens of ghost stories here. It's considered one of the most haunted cities in the world. And one of the things I find most fascinating about ghost stories is the drama behind them. Ghost stories are almost always associated with emotionally intense moments. Some form of pain, strife, stress, disappointment, brokenheartedness. I love ghost hunting shows. Ghost hunting channels seem to be so popular these days. I even invested in a few ghost tracking devices myself, trying to find evidence of their existence. Oh, jeez. So So tonight we got the old set together again. We got a voice recording radio that people often use on ghost hunts. Supposedly this is really good for picking up voices, but I haven't really gotten anything convincing yet. Of course, the old spirit box radio. I think this thing's busted because I did not store it very well, but we're gonna try our best. And of course, K2 meter, looking for electromagnetic fields. And we're indoors, so we should get some. Even just getting close to the camera should set it off. Yeah, there you go, see? So that means you guys are ghosts. Finally, we've got modern technology for your modern ghosts. This is a word chooser app. It cycles through a handful of words, and then ghosts are supposed to be able to set off different sensors and pick words. Now it's called the Volvolus 2. I think the creator of this app might be a little lonely. We're just gonna leave this over here. Oh, loving! Oh God. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reset this.
Detected false reading. Calibrated.
Sorry, it's Volvolus. Volvolus 2, not Volvulus. Maybe I'm the lonely one. And believe it or not, after a few years of looking into it myself, I actually think that I've contacted some ghosts. Some say that a spirit can even attach itself to an inanimate object, or even to you. I live alone, but I often feel like I'm surrounded by other presences. This is my favorite because you're always getting voices. No matter what you're saying, you're always getting something back. It cycles through the radio stations quickly, and you just get random words from the stations you're listening to. And sometimes it sounds like you're having a conversation with something, like you're getting intelligible responses. Now again, I'm not crazy. I'm not saying I 100% believe in this phenomenon, but it's almost Halloween, so let's just have some fun together. If ghosts are real, I can't imagine that it's such a great idea to invite them into your house. I liked the idea of going out to haunted places and checking for them, but the principle behind this is dumb. So, you know, God bless me, please, for I'm about to invite some demons into my house. Okay, I saw it flashing, and even though I had it on for like a good 20 seconds, it only recorded 11 seconds of audio. So I'm betting this is it, folks.
Yes, number 372. Ghost, please talk into the top of the microphone.
And I think I'm going to quit. That was real. What the f? I believe in ghosts because everybody believes in ghosts. Okay, well, not everybody, but if you do the math on it, about 45% of North Americans believe in ghosts, and about 65% believe in life after death. Let's just split the difference on that and say about half of people believe in ghosts. And I know that doesn't mean that they actually exist, but what that means is that we cannot ignore the phenomenon. I have ghost stories, my friends have ghost stories, almost everybody has at least one ghost story. And it's a prevalent feature throughout almost every culture and religion. Even Christianity says don't talk to them. Ghosts are the single most enduring paranormal phenomenon throughout history, more believed than Bigfoot, aliens, everything put together. Arguably, the only thing in history more persistent is belief in the gods themselves. So from that we can infer that millions, if not billions of people around the world are interested in ghosts, if not full-blown believers. And I've worked in a ton of creepy old buildings myself. Downtown, I remember being alone and hearing footsteps in the floor above me. I've lost count of the times I've seen shadows in the corner of my eye. And I've had multiple successful sessions with EMF readers, voice recorders, and spirit boxes. And I think most importantly of all, you can't disprove that ghosts exist. So, good enough for me. And I was raised religious, so naturally I assumed I was going to heaven when I die. And when I fell out of love with the church, it made me wonder, what does happen to us when we die? And I wasn't so willing to give up the idea of a spirit or a soul, and I'm not sure that I really am still. And from what I gather, it seems like that was exactly the mentality that spurred on the infamous Victorian era of ghost hunting, seances, and spectral anomalies. The Victorian era was a huge turning point for scientific thinking. When people turned their back on the church, they turned towards spiritualism. Our entire modern romanticized idea of ghosts comes from the Victorian era. The whole Christmas story, ghosts bringing back regrets, Jacob Marley covered in rattling chains, all of that is Victorian. And when Charles Darwin introduced the origin of species, it blew people's entire perception of human existence out of the water and brought so many things into question. So after discovering where we came from, the next logical step for any freethinker would be to wonder where we go. And things have changed a lot since the Victorian era. Back then they were doing seances, ectoplasm, ghost photography, checking to see if candlelight turned blue. Then as technology evolved, we switched over to things like spirit box radios, K2 meters, voice recorders, and ghost apps. In fact, the spirit communication industry is booming. There are dozens of successful websites that sell a variety of ghost hunting equipment. When it's picking up audio, there's a light on the top that flashes, and it's sort of freaky having it sit there with no noise around you, and then all of a sudden it just starts to flash like it's picking up audio.
Is there anything you have to say? Try to keep it to 2 words. Give me a 2-word response about yourself.
That was only 1 word.
2-word response about yourself.
Oh, I'm mistaken. That was definitely 2 words, but they were both just screaming. That is f***ing bizarre. I gotta be honest. I have legit goosebumps. What is your name? Tell me your name. Wow, it's flashing a lot.
What is your name?
It's just gonna scream again.
Your name.
It's just gonna scream. I'm genuinely baffled by this. I have never gotten something like this.
What is your name? Tell me your name.
Then a pause. There's definitely 3 syllables, like Lucifer. Lucifer, Prince of Darkness, that'd be
Tell
fun.
me your name.
It is Lucifer, Prince of Darkness. Dude, you wish. There are several schools of thought on what ghosts could be. The fact that they are completely undetectable as physical objects within our physical world means that perhaps they're not physical. However, they seem to interact with the physical world, either through electromagnetic fields, wood knocking, and random screaming and voices, all of which are physical phenomenon. But ghosts themselves don't seem to be physical. Or maybe they are. Maybe they are themselves those electromagnetic fields that we're detecting with our EMF readers. Or maybe they're on the other side of some veil and they can only interact with us by manipulating electromagnetic fields on our side. The school of thought seems to be that between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. is the best time to communicate with ghosts. It is somewhere around 3:30, the witching hour. Round about that time. And that also seems to be the most common time that people are abducted by aliens. What is it about the witching hour that makes the veil so thin that you're more likely to interact with something from the other side? I even noticed with my own ghost equipment that anything that I seem to detect, noises, voices, bumps, beeps, were all a result of some sort of electromagnetic phenomenon. You see that? Yeah. When I put it right down at the table level, it just flares right up. So I'm wondering if that's not what's causing our little audio problem, the little feedback noise that we're getting on the recorder here. And of course, the Victorian era was the era of wild electromagnetic fields. Everybody's homes were lined with unfilamented electrical wiring. And it's known that electromagnetic fields raise your fight or flight response, which will trick your brain into thinking that somebody is there when they're not. However, that does not explain some of our results.
Okay, Spirit, that was fun. So we know that you're here. Please tell me what your name is. Flashing is
Wah, 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 wah.
Tell me what your name is.
The first law of thermodynamics dictates that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So what happens to our consciousness after we die? Does it just dissipate into our body and is released by heat? Or are the electrical processes that happen in our heart and brain evaporated out into the ether? Even Albert Einstein himself played with the idea of there being ghosts. And doctors Penrose and Hemmerhoff postulated that ghosts or spirits are actually a process of quantum tubules? There was like quantum tubules of energy or some crap. It sounded really smart, whatever it was. Their evidence being that they noticed in EEG scans that consciousness happens in the brain before the firing of the neuron. They believe that a ghost is our quantum conscious information being released out into the universe after we die. And there's even the issue of repeated or residual hauntings, when the same ghosts are seen in one location multiple times doing the exact same thing, almost as if their consciousness or that moment in time was imprinted on that location, and something is happening that's making that imprinted information play out like a video over and over. And there seems to be different kinds of ghosts that can do different kinds of things. Hans Holzer believes that the first classification, ghosts, are just imprinted on the environment, things that are not necessarily conscious but are repeating or residual haunts. The second classification, spirits. These are intelligent beings that can interact with the living. And the third classification is leave-behinds, as in people who did not pass on after they died. And of course there's a bunch of other things that are classified as spirits, ghosts, whatever, like familiars, poltergeists. I'm not gonna get into all that. So in conclusion, ghosts are real, and you should be extremely afraid of them. Oh, and never play with the Ouija board.
Last chance, spooky spirit. Say what you gotta say, or put the recorder away.
That was it?
Or put the recorder away.
I think he just said bye. Goodbye. It was nice to meet you. Please never come back. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. What do you guys think? Do you have any ghost stories? Do you think my fridge is too loud, or do I have a demon in my house? Let me know in the comment section below.